Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us. This is a candidate forum for KPFT's local station board. We're going to talk to a couple of candidates who are running on that board. My name is Tim Langford. I'm with the League of Women Voters of the Houston area, and I'll be your host and moderator. KPFT is a listener-sponsored radio station, one of 5 stations that make up the Pacifica network, the country's first and only independent radio network. The views expressed during this program are those of the candidates who are with us today, not that of KPFT-FM or the League of Women Voters, and the League's participation should not be seen as an endorsement for any candidate or cause. Now to the ground rules. Candidates are seated in the order in which they will be asked questions, moving in a clockwise manner with candidate 1 to my immediate left. Random drawing to determine the lineup was performed by the National Election Supervisor prior to this taping. Each candidate will have an opportunity for a 1-minute opening statement, and then we'll begin the questioning. Each candidate will have up to 2 minutes to answer each question they are posed, and each of the remaining candidates will be given 30 seconds to respond. The original candidate will then be given 2 minutes again to respond to that feedback. And we'll continue in a round-robin manner until both candidates, in this case, have been given the opportunity to answer at least 2 questions in the allotted time. So everyone understand and agree to the rules?
Yes.
Wonderful. All right, let's get started with Raka Ghosh.
Hello, my name is Raka Ghosh. I hail from India. I came here many, many years ago in 1971. Consider myself an American. I lived in New York for 9 years and the balance here in Texas. So I'm a true Texan. I'm currently retired, but I like volunteer work, have been involved in politics and in charitable work and outreach work. I think KPFT is an important organization, and therefore I am running to be on the board.
Okay. And 1 minute to you.
Good afternoon. My name is Susie Moreno, and I'm running for the local station board. I'm a nurse by profession. I'm a mother first, which I believe is the most important job. And in saying that I'm a nurse, I'm a caring person. I take very seriously ethical, moral considerations, and I believe that on the board, I will be able to best serve you by asking you, what do you as the listener want from me, and how do you want me to represent you, and in what areas? So a vote for me would be a vote for yourself. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your vote.
Okay. All right, we've had our opening statements. We'll go on to the question and answer round. First question will go to you, Raka. According to the Pacifica bylaws, one of the duties of the local station board is to, quote, to work with station management to ensure that station policies and procedures for making programming decisions and for programming evaluation are working in a fair, collaborative, and respectful manner to ensure quality programming. Do you think the KPFT's policies and procedures, as you know them, are adequate and done in a fair, collaborative, and respectful manner?
I couldn't speak to how they're done in reality, but just purely, from the point of view of the ideas, yes, they are fair, and they should be followed.
Okay. Would you like to add anything else to that?
No, not really.
Okay. Susan?
Same question?
Same question, 30 seconds.
Okay, so I have been on the board before, and my answer is no. I believe and I feel like the establishment at KPFT does not allow for collaboration or inclusion. Most of all, it does not. In some areas, it may. Many and all means of communication are blocked by means of unfair tactics that many times bypass the policies and procedures for making fair or unfair decisions.
I'll have to stop you right there for 30 seconds. Do you have anything to respond to that?
I've never been on the board, so if you could elaborate on what's unfair.
Okay, well, we'll allow that. Go ahead.
Okay. Unfair is just what I stated. At many times there have been policies and procedures that are in place that are manipulated. And I believe that you have to participate as a board member before you can make your own decision. I'm not here to change people's minds. I'm just here to inform.
Okay. And do you have a response to that now that you've heard a little bit more?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to question number 2 then. Susie, this is for you.
Okay.
Financial issues is the topic of this question. In your opinion, how healthy or unhealthy is KPFT financially? And what would you describe are the financial problems in a nutshell, and how would you resolve those problems?
Okay, so financially, as most people know, KPFT and the Pacifica Foundation are in deep trouble. And I'm not part of the financial decision making, but I understand that there are many times where clarity and transparency have not been issued or addressed. And to me, that's one of the most important things when you are part of the financial part of an organization, whether it be staff members or whether it be the financial committee of the board. So in these areas, I have found, and I know there are many accountants or people in the financial areas that have are pressed to make omissions or to finagle figures. And one of the things that most accountants or people that are in the financial area have to do is sometimes you have to become a whistleblower.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. Minute's up. Would you like to respond to what she said?
Why do you think there's finagling? Do you have proof of the finagling? What is it that bothers you the most? Do you have monthly meetings? Do you get to see any expenses? Have you demanded it? How often do you meet?
Okay, I'll let you respond to that.
We meet monthly, and there's also a financial committee, and I have been in the financial committee before. Many times, in the financial committee, we did not receive financial statements. And as I see it, like I said, I'm not an accountant, but I've had a little experience with accounting and bookkeeping. I worked at a bank for 20 years. And a lot of times we were not provided with the financial documentation that we were asking, and especially some of the people that were in the financial committee that had hands-on and were familiar with the goings and comings of the organization. We would ask for specifics and we would not receive them. And that's what I have it based on.
And there was no recourse?
No recourse.
So do you have any thoughts on what you would do if you were elected to the board to address what she's saying? Do you have some thoughts on that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'll give you 30 seconds.
At the first meeting, I would make sure that we all understand when we meet on a monthly basis, we want to see the expenses for the month and the revenues for the month.
Okay.
By program.
Okay, sounds good. And the next question will go to you then. This is kind of not really about the operations, but what is your understanding of independent journalism? And do you think that the rules around independent journalism require the board to remain out of editorial decisions about news reporting? So how would you focus, how should the board address editorial issues, and what is your thoughts on independent journalism?
Independent journalism is reporting facts. There is no if, and, or but. They report and only facts with no slant and no view. And a board, an editorial board, should not have to interfere with that. Should have no interference. It brings no value to truth.
Okay.
Independent journalism is the truth.
All right. And would you like to respond to that?
I agree with her. I think that independent journalism is just that. They're facts. And the people that are reporting this have researched their subjects, and they had facts to cover whatever their points of views or opinions are. And I don't think that a board, once they've decided that this is a legitimate independent journalist should have any questions, and if so, then perfectly for sure the journalist will have the answers. I agree with her completely.
Okay. We want to go on to the next question. Is that fine?
Sure.
All right. Okay, here's a good question. Kind of piggybacks on that. What is community radio? And is KPFT community radio, and should it be? And how is that different from other public radio options?
To me?
To you.
Oh, community radio is for the people, and community radios are usually financed by the people or the listeners. That's how it's different from other radio programs that are commercially financed.
Okay. And do you have any response to that?
I don't have a response to that. That's exactly what community radio is. It is supported by the community only. There is no other source of resource.
Okay. And anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, not really. Only that a lot of times there are communities that are not represented, or not equally represented, or at least represented according to population in the area.
Okay. Well, let's piggyback on that for you, Raka. The Pacifica mission is to support and reach out to underrepresented communities. How would you reach out to those communities if you were on the local station board?
Well, it depends on who we feel are underrepresented communities. To me, underrepresented communities are refugees who have no idea of the resources that are available to them. They are handicapped people who also have no idea. Senior citizens have no idea. These are underrepresented communities, not necessarily minorities at all. And it would behoove us to have programs where we would disseminate information for them, true, proper information with telephone numbers, resources, for them to go to and find out how to reach the help they need.
Okay. Susie?
So what was the question again?
If you were on the board, how would you reach out to underrepresented communities as a member of the local station board?
Okay, so I've had a little experience with this, being on the board, and we haven't found a good medium or a way of reaching these people, but to me, in my opinion, it has to be a collaborative effort from each of the board members. And if one person goes isolated to one community, one person is not going to make a difference. But if you have a couple of people, or more than two people from the board coming and saying, we're here to offer our service, what can we do to you? How can we represent your community? What do you need from us? Then that would make a difference. And the more inclusive we are, the more funds also we're going to have for the community, and the more funds we have, the more we have to offer the community at that point. So it's like
I'm sorry, I'll let you respond to that if you would like.
Yeah, that's not what I had in mind. What I had in mind was we as a station should understand who are underrepresented and have solid programs to address their needs, because they're basically completely unaware. And so in order to make them aware, we should have programs, literally, disseminating information.
Okay. All right. We will go on to the next question, Susie. It will be for you.
Okay.
What do you think are the practical implications of membership rights with respect to the station's decision-making process?
So what are the realistic
implications,
suggestions of membership rights that respect the station's decision for?
So what role should listener members have?
Listener members don't have a role, and I think it would be difficult for them because living in a large city like this, people have little time. And I thought about this, and the only thing that I think we could do is do surveys. But again, people have to take time to answer the surveys, read the surveys, and then get back with our listeners and let them know this is what we got from you, and this is the information that we received from the surveys that we sent to you, and give them options. These are the options, and then maybe they may respond, but we have not had good luck at doing that. But to me, I think that would be the best way to include them, and to also, that would reflect whatever their answers or whatever we get from the survey would reflect their opinions and their needs and their desires. And then from there, do policies and procedures and programs that would address each and every community.
Okay. What do you think about that?
I think what we could have as a board, we could install a phone line where people could call in, and a volunteer takes down the information, and towards the end of the week, the editorial board sits down and looks at all of this, compiles this. At the end of the month, it is decided maybe it's time to have a slot to do this, and this to satisfy the listeners.
Okay. And what do you think?
I think that's a good idea. We've had similar ideas before, but we've run into a brick wall a lot of times, and so that would be an excellent idea. We would probably have to establish a committee that would work on that and would man that. I think that's a good idea, and I think that would be a good way to include our listeners, which we don't have right now.
Okay.
And I think that's important.
From my understanding, both Pacifica and you made mention of this, so this is going to go to you first, though, Raka. KPFT and the Pacific Foundation are a little bit on a rocky financial footing. About 20 years ago, one of the issues that fueled a crisis within the Pacifica board itself was consideration of selling one of the 5 or more of the 5 Pacifica stations that Pacifica owns directly, such as KPFT. To address the financial issues as you understand them, do you think that one of these stations maybe should be sold to help?
Absolutely not. Once you give away your airwaves, it's very hard to get it back. So you can pare down the office, you can pare down the staff, you don't have to have a building, you don't have to have a physical place, but you don't sell it off.
Okay.
You close it down.
Just close it down?
With a minimal staff.
Gotcha. Okay, just wanted to make sure I had that clear. For you, Susie.
Yeah, I agree also, and I know for a fact that they do have buildings and they have other assets that they can start selling, which would make more sense than selling the airways. Because like she said, if we sell the airways, we're not going to get them back.
Okay.
And the airways are very important to represent the common people of the community.
Okay. And one final question, I think, for you, Susie. We're back to you now. How should the local station board should the station board amplify fundraising?
I think we need to, and probably we should. We have never come to an agreement, and I think we look for big things and big funds, and I don't know if this is allowed, but like Bernie Sanders raised $1 at a time, and this is my opinion. If we reach out to the communities, we have huge communities that are not represented, and if we ask for $1, we're going to get the funds. That is my belief. I stand by that because I know Bernie Sanders did it. So to me, we can do it. We just have to go that route and establish a committee and work hard on it together.
Okay. Your response?
I think that's one of the avenues. I think there are other avenues. We could have concerts. We could have outreach programs. And while we have to eat humble pie and go from celebrity to celebrity, but it can be done. If we go to celebrities and say, we're bleeding, we need your help to have the community have these services, would you be able to join with us? And the other thing that we absolutely must do at every fundraiser is tell the population what our annual budget is That's how much we want to raise. If we can't quantify that and say, well, if you send $100, that would be so cool. That's not fundraising.
Okay.
I think I'd agree, and we do set goals, and a lot of times the goals.
But nobody knows them.
No, they set goals and they announce the goals, but they don't. But I'm not sure if they're realistic goals or not. I haven't really completely addressed that issue, in concert, I think concerts are excellent, and we've done concerts. But what we've done is concerts that only bring in bands that are to a specific group. If we need concerts that bring people in for each group, whether they be, like you say, minorities or handicapped or whatever the groups are, we need to diversify this, not just one specific group. And it's been a station that's been predominantly Anglo-male. And so we need to diversify in every area, and we need to make sure that people know that we are here for everyone, for every group, not just one.
Okay. I'll let you respond to that if you would like.
Well, I more or less agree.
Okay. And so we're going to take a moment now to do our final closing statements. You each will have a minute, and these will be clipped from this recording to be played on the air at KPFT. So you take a minute to gather your thoughts and look into your camera, and then we'll start with 1 minute.
Where's the camera?
It's going to be this one right over here.
And this.
Oh, I thought it's this one.
No, this one's yours. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's mine.
Yes.
Oh.
This one's mine. And
Okay. Thank you.
So you tell us when to go.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. Today,
You got the wrong camera, so that's the one. Now you're looking at the camera.
Which one? I'm
The
still.
one you're looking at now.
The middle?
Yeah, it's got a light on it.
I don't see the light. I'm sorry.
Anyway, that's the one.
That's the one? Okay.
All right. So we'll start that again, and whenever you're ready.
Okay. Okay. Today, I, Susie Moreno, am asking for your vote. If or when elected, I will serve you and the overall community with care, respect, loyalty, and above all, sound judgment. I am committed to serving and promoting KPFT that has a transparent, inclusive, and diverse community. Please be very clear that a vote for me is a vote for honesty, integrity. Clearly, a vote for me is a vote for the progressive candidate and who is ready to serve you. I welcome the opportunity to represent you, the listening audience, by exercising all the powers, duties that are required of a board member. Thank you very much.
All right. And Raka, you have 1 minute, and you can begin whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. Which is
Okay.
my camera?
It's going to be the one right there.
Okay. Hello. The path to hell, it is said, is paved with good intentions. We need action, not intentions. The key to growth and survival is innovation, adaptability, and purpose. Now more than ever, KPFT Pacifica, a precious resource, requires nurture, growth, and metamorphosis, increasing revenue, that is listenership. This can only be achieved with a cohesive board acting in unison and station managers understanding the board's goals and responsibility of oversight in finances as well as programming, and being agreeable to working with the board. One station, one goal. I believe I can bring value to the station. Please vote for me. Thank you.
All right. Well, I thank for both of you for being with me
Thank
this
you.
afternoon. I hope that you, the viewers and listeners, have enjoyed this conversation. Please visit kpft.org to watch or listen to the other candidate conversations that we are having before the board election. Ballots will be sent out to all KPFT member listeners on August 15th, and they do need to be returned by October 15th. You can learn more about the KPFT election also by visiting elections.pacifica.org. Thank you for joining me for this program. I'm Tim Langford with the League of Women Voters of the Houston area. To learn more about the League of Women Voters, visit our website at www.lwvhouston.org. Thank you so much.